Hello everybody, and welcome to the face reading of the people in the news. For those of you who are with me today for the first time, if you get interested in the subject of face reading, you can watch my YouTube Introduction to Face Reading. You can also buy my book, Face Reading Secrets for Successful Relationships. It is available on Amazon.com and my website, drpeterreznik.com. Yes, I haven't done much face readings lately. Sorry, but I've been doing a lot of things and there is only one of me. But about 10 days ago, I drove from the gym and listened to an interview given by Dennis Quaid about his role as Ronald Reagan. I did not realize that the premiere of the film Reagan is coming to the theaters nationwide on Friday, August 30th, that is tomorrow. And I promised the audience of my radio show at PRN, Progressive Radio Network, that by August 30th, I would post face reading of Ronald Reagan. By the way, what a fine gentleman this Dennis Quaid is. A real person, not a walking mask. Perhaps I will do a face reading on him one day. Anyway, I think that Ronald Reagan was an incredible president. The reason the Iron Curtain fell, the reason the whole socialist jail for half of Europe collapsed, is because two people, Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev, had the courage to take the road less traveled, to take a risk. And primarily the Soviet machine collapsed because of one thing, which seemed to be absolutely ridiculous, and yet it worked. America had enough nuclear weapons to destroy the Soviet Union 20 times over, and the Soviet Union could destroy America only 19 times. It's an absurd, total absurd. All you need is to have the capacity to destroy the enemy one time. But the race was on, and the Soviet economy could not keep up. It collapsed. So Gorbachev had no other choice but to negotiate. As you may remember, on this YouTube channel, I do two different readings. Face reading of the people in the news and face reading for successful relationships. Though with Ronald Reagan, I decided to do the people on the news reading, I could easily give this reading the title Successful Relationships as well, because who Ronald Reagan was and who had become was so intertwined with his relationship with his wife Nancy, which lasted 52 years. Yeah, 52 years. I also want to share with you my observation about all American presidents in the last at least 60 years. Look at this man. Anything strikes you about their appearance? What about this man? Well, give it a try. I will tell you what it is. They are all tall. I looked up the height of the last 12 presidents. Out of 12, only Jimmy Carter was 5 feet 10 inches tall. The rest are all above 6 feet. John Kennedy, 6 feet 1 inch. Lyndon Johnson, 6.4. Richard Nixon, 6. Gerald Ford, 6. Jimmy Carter, the only person who was under 6, 5.10. Ronald Reagan, 6.1. George Bush, the older, 6.2. Bill Clinton, 6.2. George Bush Jr., 6. Barack Obama, 6.2. Donald Trump, 6.3. Joe Biden, 6. And here are a few people who ran against this man. Walter Mondale, 5'11", Dennis Kucinich, 5'7", Michael Dukakis, 5'9", Howard Dean, 5'9". I don't think these guys had a chance. Remember, face reading includes all physical characteristics, and the height is telling you something, either about the person or the society which chooses the person, or both. Anyway, let's get back to Ronald Reagan. So, married for 52 years. I will say a few things about Mrs. Reagan as we come to reading Ronald's face. And here we go. We start our morphological analysis of the 40th President of the United States who served his country as a president from 1981 to 1989. We start with looking at the president's profile, which tells us about his inborn characteristics. And then we read the face, which is a person's persona, the qualities he or she developed in response to nurture, and education. We then also read the features, characteristics, which give nuances to one's personality. Clear, the president had a nervous profile. Look, tilted forehead and receding chin. And there is practically no corner of the jaw to be seen. Look at the blue arrow. And the whole profile can be seen as a bow. Nervous temperament he was. But, as you can see, look at the green arrow. With age, Reagan got this flash hanging under his chin. That is, of course, a lymphatic quality. We all get this chin with time as we age. And this lymphatic feature testifies of greater tolerance and patience. But there is something else we can see. Look at the white line. Yes, even though Reagan primarily had a nervous temperament, one can easily make a straight line from the forehead to the chin. And that, of course, makes him a bilious as well. So now let's talk about what all that means. Bilious, nervous. As a bilious, Ronald Reagan was intellectual, a natural leader, willful, intellectually a long-distance runner and a long-term planner. But having a nervous corner of the jaw, and the corner of the jaw is what tells us about one's endurance, one's energy. He did not have great energy and endurance, like your typical bilious. That's why he was taking these famous naps at the White House during the day. But intellectually, yes, he was mentally active. Excuse me, I have a sip of tea. He was mentally active, organized, and as all people with the bilious temperament, he was a positive pessimist. That is, when he encountered a problem, which a bilious usually seeks out, it did not discourage him, but fueled his will to overcome, to change things for better. But the nervous cast gave Ronald Reagan that charm he was so known for. The nervous qualities added to his temperament creativity, fast thinking, and hypersensitivity. But with the nervous temperament came also the need for approval, attention, acknowledgement, appreciation. So he was not a simple guy, that Ronald Reagan. There were the qualities he came into this world with, and then there were qualities that he acquired as he was growing up. So now let's look at Ronald Reagan's persona, what he developed in response to nurture. Here he is, and the face is, try to guess. Probably those of you who have been studying with me for a while know his face is a Venus face. Just to remind you of the Venus shape, this is the shape of a Venus. It can be elongated Venus or regular Venus. As you can see, all these people almost have straight line, hairline, and a roundish chin. So, what do we know about Venus' personality? Venus is the Roman adaptation of the Greek goddess of love, Aphrodite. Indeed, of all 12 personalities, the Venus are the most concerned with loving and being loved. They want to know that they are loved. They want to hear that they are loved. They love to be flattered and adored. If you say to a Venus, I love you, they may not say, I love you too, but possibly, tell me why, tell me more. The Venus love the lover, the child, all the children of the world, the whole world community, and all the creatures of the world. They are often involved in social causes and in bringing fighting parties to the negotiating table. Oh, by the way, that reminds me of a story I read about the first meeting that Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev had together. The story goes, they said hello and sat there looking somberly at each other. Then Reagan jumped up from his seat and walked out of the room, just for a few seconds. Then he walked in with a big smile and outstretched hand and said with excitement, hello, Mr. Gorbachev. It is so nice to finally meet you. They shook hands as Gorbachev smiled in response, and the whole hour they spent was full of smiles and goodwill. That was the Venus' desire to negotiate, combined with the nervous temperaments, charm, and creativity. And Reagan was known for his ability to turn things around when negotiations were not in the right place. So the Venus all people with Venus personality are very lively, spunky, and resourceful. They have a lot of practical intelligence and know how to organize things to make everyone comfortable. And here is a little surprise. Nancy Reagan's personality was, guess what? Look at them, also Venus. Usually when both partners are Venus, it is not good news. Each wants to get attention and adoration from the other. But as it is written in Ecclesiastes, love is as strong as death. These two made space for each other in their hearts. And now a couple of words about the nuances, the features of Reagan's face. An interesting one is Reagan's left eyebrow. And we know that both Western and Eastern traditional medicine regard the left side as connected with the past and the family of origin. And the right side is connected with the present and potential or the vision of the future. As you can see, his left eyebrow has this triangulation, which we call the Mercury eyebrow. Here you can see it clearly. And you can see that he had this triangulation from young age. That tells us that from a young age he had the need to become a trickster or a diplomat in order to survive. And indeed, we know that from Reagan's biography, we know that his father was an alcoholic. We also see, look at his right eye. It is always slightly closed, also from young age. So where was his concern? When did it start? What was it? A fear that Reagan had about what would happen to him. And we know that in 1994, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. And by the end of 2003, he had lost his ability to speak and was mostly confined to his bed, no longer able to recognize any family members. He died at his home in Los Angeles in June 2004. And so we came to the end of the face reading session of a sports broadcaster who became an actor, who became a governor of California, who became the 40th president of the United States of America. And he is regarded by many as one of the greatest presidents America ever had. And I believe the consciousness of the departed, of people who die in this world, continues living on a different plane of existence and is present anytime we speak about them. Mr. President, if you are here, I hope you are. I hope I did not offend you in any way. May you continue your journey and rejoice in knowing that we, many of us, are full of gratitude for your service, dedication, and generosity of the heart. And to you all, my dear participants in this journey, thank you for being with me today. Peace to all who want to live in peace.